right. Good evening. Is it evening now?
It is evening.
Evening,
It's
good
5
evening,
o'clock.
good afternoon, whatever we want to call it, y'all. We are glad that you are here. I'm not sure. We had a little tech issue. Sure if we're officially live or not, but we're going to talk as if we are live, and then when you guys you join. All right. So happy Hump Day,
Happy Hump Day. It's the middle of the week,
man.
halfway there.
Man, I watched a video that we did last week, or maybe a couple weeks ago on a Wednesday, and Hump Day is no joke for me during this season. So I was saying the exact same thing that I feel right now, that I am exhausted and trying to just make it through. But hold on, let me make
A
sure.
lot of Zoom meetings on Wednesdays.
Yeah, Wednesday is my Zoom meeting day. All right, we are officially live. Looks like we've been live for about 40 some seconds, just chatting. But welcome, guys, to another Facebook Live broadcast where we are helping keep couples connected during COVID-19. We started this out. Look at me.
You did it.
Oh.
Put all those words together on your tired day.
She got jokes. You don't really joke with somebody when they're really tired and they just pushing to get through right now. So I forgot what I was saying because my wife was clowning me just now. So anyway, it has been, I think, 4 weeks to the day when we did this first one, March 18th. Was that a Wednesday? We started on Wednesday. I know that for sure. It's been 4 weeks to the day, but we've been coming here every day, Monday through Friday at 5 o'clock to stay connected. So we got another one.
To help us stay connected too.
Yeah, it's a blessing to us. It really is, because I think that without this, I don't know what we do at this time period. We probably go in our own separate corners and unwind from the day, but we get to kind of do it with you. And then this leads us right into family time. The kids get away from, they're doing homework. They get a chance to hang out. So today we are talking about weekly meetings, not family meetings, weekly meetings for your marriage, which I think is super, super crucial. And it's been something that has been on our radar that one time, kind of briefly. Actually, that was family meeting. We've been in and out with them, and it's not been easy for us to do it. One, just the natural, I guess, pushback of doing something consistently week after week amongst, busy seasons and non-busy seasons. Two, sometimes we're struggling with it, and sometimes one person is more into the meeting than the other person's into the meeting, so it kind of crashes and burns. But we think we got a way that we can help ourselves and help you guys, which we started but haven't been consistent with. All transparency today, y'all.
Y'all getting the real today.
The real, but we're excited about it and see the benefit of it. In the time that we did it, it was pretty good. So, what's up, Colby?
Hey, Hills.
So
y'all here?
What? Both the Hills here. So what do you?
Yeah, weekly meetings, we know that it's good for you, but it's just like anything else when you try to do something that, at least for us, this has been a challenge for us. We recognize in our marriage, it's not just about, we talked about before when we're going on a trip or going to do something that the enemy wants to try to wreak havoc and not let it be a blessing. Same thing with weekly meetings. We know that it is good for us and we're better off because of it. We face challenges when we try to commit to it and be consistent. So it takes real intentionality when you're trying to do something that's good for you, whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's working out, eating healthy, weekly meetings, whatever it is, praying with your spouse.
Yeah.
You got to have a resolve to do it regardless of what you feel like.
Yeah, so the first question I want to ask is, and we got some questions that we're going to share with you guys that we think will help you guide your weekly meetings. But the first question is, why weekly meetings? Why do we need to have a weekly meeting when we live with each other? We see each other all the time. We're doing stuff together. What's the purpose of it? And so I'll answer that rhetorical question. Hey, Alicia, welcome to the
Hola, chica.
To the party. Let me say this too as we get rolling. For those of you that are in here now live and those that come later, give us a shout out in there and let us know that you're here. And tell us if you have if you currently have a weekly meeting or weekly, whatever you want to call it, with your spouse consistently. If you're in that season where you're doing it, yes. If not, just type no. We want to kind of get a pulse on where everybody is with this currently and as we address it.
Yep.
And while we're waiting on that, I know there's a little bit of a delay with Facebook, but while we're waiting, so I want to answer the question why. So one, just like everything else, is you need a reset, and periodic resets are good. So what we have found is the less time that we come together and have real conversations, real prayer sessions or real planning set, whatever it may be, the longer we do, whether money is a big one, then the harder it is to come back together and figure out where we were and where we should be going and get on one accord. So if that time is spaced out in between, we don't, we're not effective in doing that. So we want to make sure we do that more frequently. So we are touching base and getting the pulse on where we are in our marriage, getting the pulse on where we are on all the other things that stem from our marriage, our money, our time, relationship with the kids, and then also to just to really get a chance to get away from the normal stuff. So we do so many things and we're so busy on normal circumstances as well as now during this season that it's easy to forget that, man, let's just sit down and take care of some stuff. What do you have to say about the why behind that?
I think you kind of covered it, but I think what I would add to it is it just makes you feel closer and more on the same page with what we're trying to achieve, what we're trying to do as a couple, versus kind of going in your own path and not really sure if that path is the same or if it's going away from each other or together. So it helps in that regard.
Yeah, that's a good one. Like, how do you know you're on the same path if you never sit down and recalibrate? Like, okay, here's where we are. How do you know maybe one spouse handles more of this part of the function in the family and in relationship, whatever it may be, and the other doesn't? So they're never in touch. What if something happens, to that one person? They have no clue. At least if you're doing weekly touch bases, you're there. Any team, a team gets together and practices a team together and discusses plans. A team, and it's a sports team or a work team or ministry team, whatever it is, they get together and get a game plan and kind of go together out of that. So let me see. Colby said we just started having weekly check-ins and also meeting weekly with a marriage coach. Awesome.
So good.
Yep. And that could be a part of that. That could be your productive weekly check-in. I like that word better than meeting, or meeting with your spouse. So how do you set it up? Because here's a little bit of our story. And we're not doing weekly meetings or check-ins as a couple, but we were doing family meetings. And that was big. I was like, man, this is great. We need to have family meetings. And so we did this thing, and I called it Family Ties. And like for us people that are our age, like Family Ties, the show, but Ties was an acronym, and it was something like togetherness, intentional
intimacy.
Yeah, or intimacy. I forgot what the E was. And I forgot what the S was.
Yeah.
So anyway, it was a really cool acronym that I had back then. I don't forgot what it is right now. So
It's been a while.
It's been a while. Somebody can go steal it if you want to. We stopped doing them. But I would have so much stuff on that. We'd have an outline. Somebody would be responsible for printing the outline and bringing it to the table for us to go through. And there were, man, if you've been to a work meeting, it was like, we about to do all this in 30 minutes. That's what she was thinking. We really about to do this. And then me, I was excited about it. So as you can imagine, every single week we crashed and burned. And when I say crash and burn, it usually end up in an argument or some hurt feelings. I was probably hurt because she wasn't really engaged
like
or she had just tuned out, like completely tuned out, or maybe we just didn't agree on what we were talking about. I don't know, but we would always fall short of completing that weekly meeting the way we wanted to. So now here we are, and we got this book a year ago, and we shared it with you on a previous one of these Facebook Lives, and we got a great full framework, and it's geared towards couples.
Yep.
All right, so we want to talk to you about this book. It's not our book; it's somebody else's book, and share it, and then go through the questions in the framework, and hopefully this gives you an idea, or you could use the exact same thing or buy the book yourself and go through it. So, baby, you want to talk about? I'll show the book. What's
Yep.
it called?
Navigator's Counsel.
I don't know if y'all can see that or not.
Is a really good, simple framework for weekly check-ins. It's written by, in case you guys are looking for it, it's written by Jeremy and Audrey Roloff, Roloff. And so there's 6 simple questions that are asked each week that you are supposed to come together and answer together. Both of you answer all 6 questions. And it just kind of gives you a pulse on where we're at with these 6 questions, because they are not typical conversation that I mean, it's something that you may not talk about throughout the course of the week, but this makes some intentional time to discuss those things that are helpful to get you back on track, to help you know how you can change course if
Yeah.
necessary, or increase something if necessary. So,
Yeah, and a little backstory. I did a little reading on the authors of the book, and these questions, how they created this was these were the questions or the kind of Navigator's Council is what they were going through when they were engaged and they were meeting with their premarital counselors or premarital coaches, and they would walk them through these or something similar to that, and that helped to shape and form their marriage. And they continued on when they got married, and then they were like, okay, this would be great for us to create something like that. So they actually, with the permission of their coaches, counselors, mentors, whatever they were, created this and took that concept and that idea, put it into their own, and now are impacting couples all over the world. So it has been great the time that we did it. We
yeah.
want to continue on. It's a great framework. And for those of you that are like weekly meeting, we got to plan and do this. There's a planning section in each weekly meeting where you can at least go through very simply so it fits the person that don't want to go all into extra planning and all that type of stuff, but also fills the need of the person that does want to plan in addition to these questions.
Yeah, because you can always elaborate on this. This gives you the simple framework for somebody like me that cannot sit through a long, in-depth meeting with a whole bunch of meat to it, all in one setting. But for that person that needs to flesh it out, it gives you that framework where you can continue on.
All right. Hey, Ada, welcome. Thank you Doris. Thank you for joining us. All right, guys. So we're going to jump into it. We're going to ask these questions. We'll talk about it a little bit, but write them down or record. This will be recorded. Get ready to come back to them. But I think it'll be helpful to you guys in your marriage. So you want to roll into it?
Yep. So here's the other side of the book, just so you can see what the pages look like. So that space is where you're supposed to write your answers. The first question says, what brought you joy this week? So again, Jackie would ask me that, and I would ask him that, and we take turns being the scribe. Also, that was another thing that was mentioned in the beginning of the setup of the book, is that each week alternate who's writing down the answers for you both. So what brought you joy this week?
What brought me joy this week? I can say without a shadow of a doubt, getting the website done.
I knew that would be it.
So for those that haven't been in on this conversation, been working on repackaging our happily married couples website.com website, and it's been a task, and it's been some slow moving stuff. And then over the last, since we're on this shutdown, I was like, now I got time to finish it off the way I want to. And so I told you guys that showed up about a week or so ago that last Monday, not 2 days ago, but last week Monday, it was going to be live. It was not live. I was frustrated, had a bunch of stuff still had to do, and this Monday night I think I fixed it, got it all ready to go, finalized, checked off all the balances, or the crossed the T's, dotted the I's, and it is now officially live. And I'll be honest, I've been walking with a little bit different pep in my step because it's live, just because something that you worked on, that you created, and now it's finally there.
The accomplishment.
Is there, so that has brought me joy, and it's got me excited about what's next, because that was just step one, just getting it out there to the world and live. Now there's so many other things that I want to take out or want to share and give out to you guys and everybody else. So I'm super joyful over that.
It's good stuff.
All right. What about you? What brought you joy?
I think what brought me joy to this week, I was getting out and exercising after work. That brings me joy. And working out in the morning with my daughter. She's gotten up, y'all. This is going on 2 weeks straight of her getting up out of the bed early in the morning to work out with me without me knocking on the door, without me waking her up. I get up and do my thing, and she's been coming along. So it's been encouraging to see the impact or the influence that I'm having on her and getting her up and motivated. So
yeah, when she say 2 weeks in a row, that is a major accomplishment, because since homegirl's been home from school, homegirl has been in that room, door locked, closed, not coming out to about 12, 1 o'clock every day. So she's getting up. What, y'all working out at 7 every day?
7 in the morning, yep.
Excuse me, 7 o'clock every day, going in it. And what's cool is like that has encouraged us too, because now me and Jackson, our oldest son, we work out either right before them or right after them. Most of the time it's after them. He's been consistent too, watching you guys, and then because days that I haven't shown up, he's shown up, and that for me and him started with running. But that I've gotten some joy out of that too, seeing everybody do that. So, what brought us joy? So that's 2 answers. What brought us joy? All right, next question.
What is something that was hard this week?
Can I answer first?
Sure.
Today. I am worn out. Wednesdays are longer days for me, and I have more meetings than normal on Wednesdays, and so it's always draining by the end of the day. and knowing that we also are going to sit down here at 5 o'clock. Now I feel a little bit more energetic now that we've started this. But before, what did I do? I came in here and just laid down, sat down. I was like, ooh, I'm done. So today's been rough, and that doesn't mean it's been a bad day.
Yeah.
That just means it's like a lot. I've given a lot and thought a lot, and, worked through a lot of problems a lot and listened to a lot. And so when it comes 5 o'clock, I'm done. So today was hard for me.
Yeah. I would say what's hard for me this week and probably most weeks is this new situation we're in. And I think I talked about it on another live, is that I remember when we were homeschooling of just feeling pulled. Like I'm not really, I am a person that likes to, likes the other side, like cutting the grass or washing mud off the sidewalk, whatever, ironing clothes, vacuuming the car. Other side of what you've worked on and that finished is like super rewarding to me. So when I'm pulled and nothing seems like it's finished, that is frustrating and exhausting. So I feel like that's been hard, being pulled in different directions all day, pretty much every day is
No joke.
yeah.
No joke. No joke. So I was going to say something to that. I want to ask you guys before we go on to the next question, and for both, if both of you are here, husband and wife, if just one of you just answer, what has brought you joy this week? Because I think it's super, super important. These questions are very, very strategic and awesome. I have a practice of every morning of writing down 3 things that I'm grateful for. And doing that just sets my spirit right. It gets me seeing the right side of things. It just does something to you. And so I think reflecting on what brings you joy, I think we talked about this maybe in another recent one of these broadcasts, but not in this context. But what brings you joy? So answer that question in the comments. Let us know what brought you joy this week.
This week.
Yeah. I'll give you a minute to do that as I check into the comments. See what we got in here.
I love seeing y'all in the comments talking to each other. People that know each other in here. That's cool.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, let me check over here. Cool. All right. So again, these questions are very strategic. Great framework for you. Wow, sorry, 521. A great framework for you guys to have productive weekly meetings. Now, I want to ask the question too, as you write down what brought you joy this week. Can you imagine and can you see how this framework can help? Simple questions and not directed at each other. So it's not like, here's what you did this week, or here's, you know what I'm saying? It's like, what brought you joy? You get to say what brought you joy. And that could be something in your marriage, that could be something else. And what was hard. That what is hard doesn't mean you did something to me or, vice versa. But it's like this is, and so now at the same time, it allows your spouse to know, one, and gets, know more about you and your week. And it also knows how they can intercept you out as well. All right, which we'll talk about in a minute. All right, third question.
What's one specific thing I can do for you this week? A good question.
So I'll ask you, what's one specific thing I can do for you this week?
You could cook a meal.
Have.
No. Even if you have, you can cook another meal.
You can cook multiple meals.
Yeah. You could cook a meal. That would be wonderful. Yes, you have cooked in the past. I don't know if you've cooked this week. But
I cooked you breakfast.
Did you?
I'm always cooking you breakfast every week.
Boy, guys. Oh, boy.
I haven't brought you, remember every time I make an egg, I always ask you. Or make a little egg, whatever thing.
I'm going to on the show today, but I know yesterday and today.
I didn't today.
Or yesterday.
What was yesterday?
You
Tuesday?
sat here with me on the couch eating your egg.
Somebody made that for me. Had you not already eaten?
No. And it wasn't.
Thinking
that
about
was
that.
Not. That was not even supposed to go there. It was, the question was what specific thing he can do for me this week.
Yeah.
Cook a meal. That would.
So for the rest of the week, from Wednesday on, I need to cook another meal, or 2 or 3.
That is one. Yeah. As many as you make would make my heart full.
All right. Any counselors in? No. So you asking me the question too?
Yes. What is one specific thing I can do for you this week?
What is one?
One specific thing.
I got a list. Let me pull
I
my book
know.
out. No, I don't have a list.
Uh-huh.
The one thing that you can do for me this week is sit down and work on the next steps of happily married couples.
You see how how that worked out?
That's a sit down and conversation. That's one thing.
Okay.
Wait, I want to hear what you're thinking.
There's multiple things, but we're gonna leave it there.
No, wait. How is that multiple things?
Because that's not a check it off.
Let's sit down and let's map out what the next steps are. That's the one thing we map out and we're checking it off.
Okay.
You don't agree?
Number 4.
I'm gonna ask the people. Hold on. I need to ask the folks in the audience. Is that one thing or is that multiple things? So let me say the question again.
You remember we talked about the family meetings and how that was. Okay? The family meetings, family ties that we had.
I need to ask the question for them. All right. Is this one thing or multiple things? Sit down with me and map out the next steps. I'm gonna wait. I'm waiting, y'all. So my Doris said my loves cooking for his wife.
Aw,
So
that's a gift.
I do as well. I'm good at it.
I don't know.
I got multiple hats
Do you
that I gotta
love
wear.
cooking?
Do
For
I
me?
love cooking?
You said. I do too.
No,
I do as well.
I enjoy cooking and seeing and feeding you.
Mm.
I don't love cooking, period.
Well, that's
But
what
to
you
do it
just
for
said.
to do it for you and get you some food, so that way because you won't feed yourself sometimes. So for when I know you haven't eaten and to provide something so you can get it,
Okay.
I'm good with that. So I'm waiting though. One or two, I need to know. Let me know that that's
One or multiple.
one or more things that I asked to do.
It's levels. Alicia Washington.
That's your homegirl. She
My
gonna say
girl.
that. That don't even count. Not even count. Christina
Yes.
Cruz, welcome to the group. And I need us to answer a question while you came in here. We're going to put you on the spot right away. Is this one or more things? If you ask someone to sit down with you and help you next steps, is that one or multiple things?
You got to go back and watch the beginning of the video where we talk about family meetings.
If needed. Hey, what's up, Ron?
Hey, Regat.
This
Good
is,
to see y'all.
all right. So, see, they're going to answer honestly because they're not.
It's definitely multiple. There's two
Who
people.
said that? Who said that?
Regat.
That's your girl.
What is it? Is there somewhere that is Jackie's friend
No,
that can answer
this
this?
is what I mean. That's your group. What do y'all call it? Y'all hang out.
You didn't say Stephana's friends can't answer because
No, they can answer.
They're our friends.
They can answer.
They did
But
answer.
I need some other perspectives.
No.
Alicia
Does
does
too
too count.
count. That's right.
I'm gonna need a mute button on here for some folks. All right, y'all. We're gonna move on because we're just gonna have to move on. That's what we're gonna have to do.
Cook a meal. Sit down and plan next steps for. That's different. It's okay.
All right, let's go. The next question. What is the next question?
Yep. So this one, number 4, they ask, is there any unconfessed sin, conflict, or hurt that we need to resolve and or seek forgiveness for? So that's a deep question. It is a great question to have in this meeting, in this check-in time with you and your spouse, and be honest about whatever's burdening you.
Right.
You shouldn't have to carry, and sometimes it is for whomever the offender is, but we have to recognize that this is my brother in Christ before he's my husband, and so let me see him and stand in prayer for him if there's something that is sin in his life.
And I'm also going to refer back to maybe last week. This is not an easy conversation necessarily, and I think it takes some growing too. We talked about 5 depths of communication, and we shared about how do we get beneath the surface so we can get to have regular truth and love conversations. That is not something that everybody's able to do right away. All right, so practicing this and getting to that point where now you feel comfortable sharing that unconfessed sin, that conflict, or that is something that this can be a part of your tool belt. Weekly check-ins like this that can help you grow your you want to be having these transparent conversations. Mm-hmm. And maybe when you first start out, your communication is not there, and you're not able to go there. You know, you may have to be like, can I pass on this question this week? Can we talk about it another week? You're not required to sit down and go through and have. You're not at a place in your communication and in your marriage where you guys can maturely and lovingly handle that, or you come out better than when you went in to start talking about that.
Yeah.
All right. So
question 5.
Oh, it's 5:29.
Ooh, hurry. Okay,
right.
So we may not be able to answer and expound, but number 5 is, what is a dream, desire that's been on the forefront of your mind? So remember, there's only 6 questions. We're at number 5. What is a dream, craving, or desire that's been? So another, opportunity to dig and talk about something that you may not ever come across during a regular week.
These check-ins are weekly, so it's something that you could be doing every week. It's like this ain't. I mean,
it may get it all out.
Right. It's some of it, and it may not be like you may not have an idea right then. That week you're like, you know what? I don't know. I'm still searching for this.
Yeah.
And that could be a conversation, or that could be lead to the next question, which is, how can I pray for you this week? Maybe the prayer is, Lord, reveal purpose. Put dreams in our heart, put the desires in our hearts. Help my wife, help my husband uncover the things that help us to deal with this conflict. But the real thing is be praying for each other, that we can now, that person, exactly how to go to war for them spiritually, and vice versa. And I guarantee, if you do that really on Monday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, until you meet the next Sunday or Saturday, whenever you do it, if you do that diligently and pray, that will have an impact on your marriage than anything else, answering any of these questions, any routine, or anything like that. So that is, to me, is one of the most. Got to get to number 6, and you got to share some prayer requests. And even that takes a level of truth and love and transparency. This is where I need help at. And we do that consistently, I think, throughout the day, sending a message, hey, I'm struggling with this. We'll do this weekly, check in, make sure this is something that you can use for you. That came late and was co-signing on my wife.
This is the book we're talking about today, Navigator's Counsel. Really good tool for weekly check-ins for your marriage.
Awesome. So grab the book. We'll put a link on there in the chat or something for you guys to grab it. Also, for those that missed the news, website is Beast, bigcouples.com. Don't hesitate. As soon as we end this broadcast, go check it out. Some other resources and more resources will come. So we're excited about it. Let us know what you think and share with other people. It's going to help couples connect, going to help couples communicate, and we're going to help couples create marriages worth celebrating. That's our goal with happily married couples. So appreciate you guys coming, joining in the chat.
Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, hopefully it was good for you as well. Tomorrow at 5 p.m.
See you tomorrow.